dragons guard their hordes beneath the tree. Books of spells drift softly on the breeze. The moss it cushions your weary feet, and the bees hum a tune that's bittersweet. Yes, you are here on the shady side, lost within the flow of the shifting tide, where the forest whispers and the brook does gleam. You're wandering deep in a waking dream. It's a place where the rules don't apply, where the trees seem to watch as you pass by. Every twist in the trail is a mystery. Every rustling leaf tells a history. Here you are on the shady side, dancing with the shadows, no need to hide, where the stream runs cool and the world's unseen, and the air is heavy with a magic sheen. Tales are twisted where paths might bend. The brook it laughs, the shadows play, and the world feels strange.
Linda, my Linda. Oh my goodness, thank you so much for the subscription. Did that redeem play? Oh, it was a resubscription. Okay. Did the redeem play? I have absolutely no idea. My also little stream thing is refusing to work right now. I'm going to trust that it worked. We were in fact, Linda. Yes, it did. Okay, fantastic. I am so glad. Usually I let this play for like 2 things. I might be just jumping in really quick though. All right, so let's do it. Okay, that's not so bad. It's so quiet though. Do I not have any music playing at the moment? There it is. Okay. Hi there, everybody. Get over here, Stream Deck. Oh my gosh. I have missed you so much. I've missed you so much. Oh my gosh, I have missed sitting in this chair. I have missed having a roof over my head. I have missed clicking all the buttons. Hi Neo, hi everybody. Linda, welcome back. Sandom, welcome back. I appreciate the lurk. I actually have Void Arc, hello there. It's so nice that you popped in and said hello. Aphex Mike, first time chatter. So incredibly honored that you were willing to pop in. I understand that this is probably not what people are looking for when they come into any stream whatsoever, but I have a lot on my mind and I need to get it off onto stream. And I also realized that I am not wearing any deodorant right now, which is going to bother me so much. I'm just one of those people who just like the sensation of just sweating there is going to really bug me. Can you give me 2 seconds? I know, this is like super unprofessional streamer stuff. We just started the stream. I'll be right back too, Linda. That's fantastic. Excellent. Oh, this is wonderful. This is a sign, Linda. You have just enabled me to go and put deodorant on. As soon as I was going to put that on the thing and then I didn't do it. Okay, it's okay. I'll be right back. here we go. We are back now. And starting, for heaven's sake, I don't know. Can I just like dismiss ads for an entire stream here? Like, is that allowed? If I just keep hitting the dismiss button, are they going to be like, hey, Miss Ungrateful, do you not want our ad revenue? We're just going to strip it away from you anyways. Okay, so believe it or not, we're actually on a time schedule today. This is going to be an extremely short stream. I just have a lot to say right now, and I was originally going to be doing this while I was, well, we'll get that into a second. First of all, I just am so grateful to be back home. I'm happy that I am back here with all of you right now. I am definitely in a very zen-like place at the moment. Maybe not like in this exact moment, because I actually have my niece and nephew here. They're way in the back. They're being so sweet right now. They're playing with stuffies, and they're trying hard to just whisper right now so that they don't interrupt the stream, which is really, really sweet of them. They're not necessary because I have a sound gate on, but they're like, can you hear us? Can you hear us right now? Oh my goodness, what is going on, Foxfire the Fungus? I'm so happy that you're here. Welcome back to the shady side. Foxfire and I go way back. It's really cool. I'm glad that you're going to talk about it. I have to talk about it, and I have to talk about it now because I am working tomorrow, and I am also working on tomorrow's Monday. I'm sorry, I'm so not used to like streaming on a Sunday. I'm used to being at work at this moment in time on a Sunday and just not being there. I'm like, oh, what day is it? What's going on? And it's also been a very, very long time since I've actually sat down and streamed. As you can probably hear, my voice isn't necessarily like a lot better. But that's part of the reason why I haven't streamed in a long time, is because the last time I streamed, which was literally, I don't even know how long ago, like 9 days ago, which is a long time in streamerland, I do acknowledge this. But the last time I streamed, I was playing The Legend of Zelda, and I also read a little bit from the book, and I was sick already, and I lost my voice. And when I say I lost my voice, I mean, like, I had to whisper. I literally had to whisper. You can't see the mic right now. That's actually not very convenient. It's underneath the tree right now. But that's how I talked for 2 days straight. And even then, like, I had to force it out for like work. Oh, I'm getting distracted by things though. So that's a big reason why I didn't stream. And then I just like would continue to be sick, and I was trying to get ready to go to this festival that I'm going to be talking about on stream right now. Hopefully in a concise manner so that it doesn't take forever, and so that I can actually go and play with my niece and nephew, who I had no idea were coming today. So this is all just kind of converging in on each other, and we're all over the place. But I wanted to kind of come on here and share kind of directly from my heart. I'm hoping to not get super emotional while I'm talking, but if you've ever been in a shady stream before, you know that we can't help it sometimes. It is just how we are. It is how God made me. And that is another thing I want to put out there into the world, and I don't care if I go down to like literally just one viewer, or 2 viewers, which is probably going to be Foxfire. And maybe Linda if she has time, because Linda already knows and Foxfire already knows. But if anybody else, and I know I already put the pin message up there, but I really do want to iterate that this is not something I talk about on stream maybe ever. I allude to it a lot. It is something that is important to me. Hi, Rylery. Welcome back to the shady side. And I just want to put out there a million billion times, if this is not your thing, if this is not content you are interested in, please read the pin message. It's probably rarely, if ever, going to happen, but it's something that's important to me, and I want to be able to talk about it because it has a lot to do with, everything is interconnected right now. I promise there's like points that I'm trying to make while I'm doing this stream, but some of the things that I'm personally going to be talking about today, that if you're not interested in that, I am understanding. I do not hold that against you. I would just say that please catch me in another stream, which I promise is going to happen. This isn't something that, like, you know, I'm teasing. Like, I will be back to my maybe not normal schedule lately. Alari, my darling, it is so good to see you. Oh my goodness, it is so good to be home. But Alari, I was just telling everybody, we're about to get into that, Riley. I'm giving a big ass disclaimer though. Nesto, hello there, my dear. I'm so happy, and I'm really trying not to swear right now because my niece and nephew are here. I'm giving a really big disclaimer right now. I'm talking about spirituality today. I'm talking about my own personal stuff. This is like a big person. This is a me stream. We're talking about me right now, but like hopefully it can be like something that is a little bit more universal and everybody can kind of relate to it a little bit. I'm going to be talking about the festival that I went to for the past 3 days, which is why I didn't stream on Friday. I'm going to be talking about God. I'm going to be talking about spirituality. I'm going to be talking about my own personal experiences. That's my niece in the background, if anybody was wondering who that was. If that is not your thing, I get it. I would maybe not ask you to like this isn't really like an invitation to like start arguments and stuff, which I know that sometimes is a reason why Twitch asks us not to talk about certain divisive topics, is because it just makes people like maybe not get along in chat. I'm not inviting that today. This is not an invitation for that. This is just me just kind of giving testimony at the moment. You sound a lot better, Em. I'm so glad. Me too, Alari. Me too. I was just telling them, Alari, that like last time I streamed, which I know was a long time ago, and I'm so sorry, but I literally lost my voice. I completely lost my voice, and I still don't sound that great. You know, I still sound like, you know, like croaky and stuff, which I got to admit, I'm kind of like warming up to. You know, I've been kind of like feeling a little bolder at work. Been kind of like feeling like a little more like, hey, what's your order? Instead of like, hey, what's your order? I'm like, what do you want? You know? So that's been really nice. But yeah, this is what we're talking about today. Like I said, note the pin message. And I'm not going to hold it against anybody if they want to click out and just like go have a wonderful Sunday. I'm encouraging you to go have a wonderful Sunday. But I want to talk about the festival because I originally was going to talk about the festival at the festival, if that makes sense. I had this big plan in mind that I was going to take my ZV-1, I was going to attach it to my phone, I was going to have this big rig that I carried around and everybody could see the performances, and I was going to be able... Oh, thanks, Alara, you're so sweet. But people were going to be able, I was going to be able to like talk to you in my tent. None of these things happened. One, a friend of mine, actually Fire the Fungus, who is also a big camera nerd. We love our camera nerds. I don't know why, just camera nerds are magical, so I had to do that. He convinced me not to take the camera. He convinced me about like upload speeds and all this sort of stuff that he was 100% right about, and that I could just very well use my phone to live stream by itself, you know, so I didn't necessarily need a camera. So I didn't, like, it was overdrawn. Oh my gosh, it was overkill, and I just needed to... Yeah, exactly, Foxfire. Like, I got cameras for eyes. That's all I care about. That's all I see. It was possible, but like it has a lot to do with internet. There wasn't any Wi-Fi I could use, so I ultimately decided against it. And I'm so incredibly happy I did. To give a little bit of a recap here, I was gone for 3 days at a music festival. It was a Christian music festival. I know not everybody's cup of tea, which, and like I said, catch me in the next stream if this isn't something you want to hear about or talk about. But I do believe in God. That's something that I do believe in. And I go to this festival every year. I've been going for years and years and years and years. I originally went when I was like in the 9th. Oh yeah, okay, Neo, okay. Here's my thing. I get really nervous talking about this because I don't want to upset anybody. This is a divisive topic that a lot of people have like strong feelings about, and I don't want anyone to immediately like get upset and like feel like they're unwelcome or anything like that. Like this is not what I'm trying to put out into the internet. I want to put out a place of people being welcomed and people being embraced and people being heard. And I also want to be one of those people. We're already getting emotional. We're gonna calm down though. We're gonna calm down. Let's put a dragon out there. Ooh, look at that dragon. All right, we're calming down here. Anywho, yeah, it was fun seeing you and Nesto gaming together. Actually, Neil, I popped in and I saw you too, and I was like, oh, they're hanging. My mod buddies are hanging out. That was so cool. But anyways, the calming dragon, yeah. So anyways, I've been going to this festival for years and years. Now that I'm no longer there and you can't like pinpoint my location, it's called Soulfest. and it's not in the same state that I live in, so now I can finally talk about it. It is a festival that has been going on for like 27 years or something like that, and it's cool because it's very rare that you have like bigger acts coming to the New England area, and it used to be at I'm trying to like figure out a way forward on this. I had a bunch of talking points in my head, but the way to like achieve all those talking points, I was like a little bit all over the place with. Sorry, 1 second. You guys can go downstairs if you want to. That's okay. That's okay. Like, I just don't want you guys to be bored. That's okay. That's okay. Like, you can. Do you want to say hi? Yeah. Okay, let's do this, guys. My nephew's gonna say hi really fast. He's gonna say hi really fast. Why don't you come on this side, hun? Can you come on this side? We're just gonna do a little wave, and we're gonna say hi.
Hi.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Do you want to do it too, Braylon? No. Okay. My they say hi back. They say hi back. Yeah. I think that's what he was trying to get people to notice him. So, and they're being really patient right now. I reiterate, I had no idea they were coming. This was a surprise. Everyone's waving to you, by the way. Everyone's waving to you. Oh, that's cute. Do you want to see them waving, Emmett? Yeah. Can you look right there? Do you see like all their little waving hands and everything? Sorry, the trees are in the way. The trees are blocking his face.
Wait, which one is me?
None of them are you. Those are my friends. They're all sending little wave emotes to you. See? That's Neo, that's Nesto, that's Rylery, that's Alari. They're all saying hello. Yeah, you want to come over here so they can see you? And for some reason, Goofosaurus didn't work. I'm so sorry, Neo. I wonder why that didn't work. Twitch is just such an amorphous mystery. That wasn't Twitch, actually. That was Sammy. I completely forgot. Maybe... Where are you? Where are you? There we go. Huh. Can I not run you? Oh, okay. So Sammy, for some reason, is not connected to my OBS. I'm so sorry, Neo. Hey, Alari, can you refund Neo for that Goofosaurus? I apologize, Neo. I don't know why Sammy's not connecting to OBS. Thank you, Alari. Can you... So I think Braylon wants to say hi.
Okay, and there's both of us.
Did you already say hi? I think she's feeling a little bit shy. Hi, Thornstar. Welcome on in. We're keeping it. Okay. Okay. Aww. Mwah. Okay. Aw. Okay. All right. Thank you, guys. You can go sit down, or you can go play, or you can go downstairs. You can do whatever you want. Okay. I promise this isn't gonna take too long. They're cute. They're so cute. You guys are cute. Okay. Okay, so I've been lurking, so I caught the disclaimer. Okay, I appreciate that. Like I said, this isn't like a typical stream that I do. This is something that I just want to like talk about because it all has to do. Thank you, Alari, I appreciate it. It all has to do with Twitch. Hey, if you're gonna be in here, can you whisper? If you go in the other room, you can be louder, but if you're in here, you can whisper. Like my bedroom. But just so that like I can concentrate. Okay. This has a lot to do with Twitch and just sort of like my feelings on what's going on. And so the festival that I went to is a Christian music festival. I feel like I'm reiterating everything, but I keep getting distracted. And every year I have gone and I went, oh, I'm not on the stream manager. Oh my goodness. I didn't have my data. I felt so lost. I felt so naked for a second. Ooh. Anyways, and I was... Every single time I go, it's always like a point of reconnection for me to really be able to worship and reconnect to sort of my church and my fellow believers, and just kind of get wild with it. You know, there's some really fantastic acts that come there. I've seen all kinds of performances. They get absolutely crazy. Oh my word. I watched We the Kingdom last night and they went insane. I have like a little video of it, but they were just like, oh man, we're gonna do train dancing in the thing. And I don't want to do train dancing because then I gotta touch people and we gotta like go in a circle and there's like 2,000 people here. It was insane. So that was kind of a lot at the moment. And normally when I go, it means a lot to me and I'm able to kind of have a lot of clarity on things that I'm struggling with. Every single year, something really profound has happened to me. Maybe not every single year, but for the most part, every single year, something profound has happened to me. And I kind of expect that sort of thing to happen. And maybe that's, you know, a problematic thing because then you sort of build it up in your head a little bit too much so that, you know, you're kind of under these expectations when you do go there. And so But at the same time, it's still always like a good time, and I always like enjoy being with community and being around the music. The music is absolutely amazing. There's usually multiple stages going on. There's usually meetings going on, like songwriter circles, and like oh, there's a hornet in my room. Terrific. That's just terrific. Stay over there. You're a tiny one. I can ignore you if I really try. And usually what I do is like I plant myself in front of like the really, absolutely, Ilari, we're going to be getting to that. That's actually something that I'm mostly going to be talking about. Usually when I go, I plant myself in front of the main stage, just like the biggest one. And let me see if I actually can just like quickly pull up a picture of it just so that you kind of like have a understanding of what I'm talking about. Okay, I have a picture. So that is the main stage right there. It's really big. It's called the Revival stage, and usually I just plant myself in front of it and I'm there for hours and hours and hours because I want to be able to actually like get a really good view of all the big acts going on. And then after that, it's just a lot of wandering around. So there's a lot of like empty time that has to be filled. And usually like I am like going to get food or I'm going to go inside somewhere to get out of the sun. And we're going to talk about the sun. Oh my goodness. And so it's kind of a slog. If anyone who's ever been to a outdoor festival has ever experienced just like the amount of like time and what's the word I'm looking for? Endurance that it takes. Driving back, got a dog. You got another dog? Oh my word. Lyndon's unstoppable. She is the dog master. She's the dog dealer. She's got puppies and dogs just all over the board. Yes, I was Ilari. And normally, so, normally it is pretty hot. It always happens during the summertime. This year in particular, it was a little bit extra too much. I got there and it was like 90 degrees outside. Maybe more than that. It was about 92 degrees outside and I was like, oh no, oh no. Because like right before I left this time around anyways, I got the red wedding, if my girls in chat knows what that means. And that was kind of unusual because it was very early, like 10 days early. So it was a huge jump. And for anyone who deals with the red wedding knows, that's pretty unusual. So I kind of panicked inside, but I got Advil, I got all the things I needed, and I was like, we're gonna make this work. We're going to go there and have a good time, no matter what. It's gonna happen. Yeah, you do. They need to line up and get their cards punched, Linda. And so it was about a 3-hour drive. Very weird, right, Linda? Very unusual. Like, I don't have, like, consistent red weddings, but normally they're not that bad. Like, so I was just like, what is this? Is this a sign of something? Is this, like, am I being tried right now? I don't know. This is how my brain works. I'm just like, is this just, like, a sign of some kind of metaphysical thing? And so I drove 3 hours there, which isn't bad. Like I thought it was like, it used to be an hour drive years ago. years ago, like 3 years ago. And then that was such a blessing. And then last year I met a lady who was like, oh, I came from New Jersey. And I was like, never mind, 3 hours isn't that bad. I need to toughen up a little bit here. So I got there, I managed to get my tent set up. I was actually talking to Enriler Stream at that time just because like I had ended up paying to have electric, which I didn't realize was essentially like an RV space. It was 25 feet. Yes, I certainly can. I was actually noticing that it was a little bit loud. Thank you, Foxfire. Is that better? Let me know if I need to change it again. So it was like 25 feet. It was huge. And my tent is like 12 by 12. Yes, I have, Johnny Frost. Hello there. This might not be a stream that you enjoy. I'm talking about my experience at a music festival that I just went to. But disclaimer's up there. You can read it for yourself. But it's so good to see you, though. Hi there. I know it's been a minute. I apologize. I can talk again. So we're slowly getting back into stream, which I've missed so ardently. I will say that. But so I had this big space. It was like 25 feet. And I was able to park my car right next to my tent, which was awesome. I couldn't do that last year. And I got my tent set up. I went inside, and it was so hot. It was so hot I couldn't even stay in the tent, which I was pretty disappointed about. And because so a lot of, okay, I'm so sorry that I'm all over the place. Like I said, I didn't actually write this down. I just have talking points in my head about what I wanted to say on stream. A big thing for me this year, I think, was that I was really taken over by the spirit of comparison. I was kind of spending a lot of my time. I know. Well, and here's the thing, Foxfire. I was, like I said, I was taken over by the spirit of comparison because I kept comparing this year to last year. And then from that year, all the years prior, I was actually talking to Foxfire while I was there, basically like complaining my butt off. I'm sorry I'm not swearing, it's because I got the kiddos here. Basically saying, you know, like, it's, well, let me get to that in a second. Because this is actually a pretty new location for this festival. For years and years, and it was in the same place. It was this really big, beautiful ski slope resort. Ski slope resort, oh my gosh. It was a ski resort that had ski slopes. I'm going to lock in, I swear. I need some water. And it was actually, go away. It was actually really amazing because the tent, oh, I read tent, that's why I said that. The main stage was at the bottom of the ski slope, which meant that people could have their chairs all the way back up on this hill. And then we could all stand at the bottom there. And then we could like ride the ski things up to the top, and there was a little stage up there by a cabin. It was really cool. And there was it was like mountains and trees, and the camping was wonderful. And we were there for years and years. They were there for like 20 years or something like that. And then like 3 years ago, the resort, essentially them and the festival said, you know, we really need to have a parting in the ways here. So they ended up needing to find a new place to go. And the first place that they went was just an emergency place, and it kind of sucked. And then the second place that they went, which was the place where I was just at, is kind of a fairgrounds. So it is technically set up to have like buildings and people and all these sort of things. And so it's like not as majestic as being in the middle of the mountains, obviously, but it's still okay. And last year it actually worked out pretty good because they were able to have the big stage in front of the bleachers where normally they would watch the horse racing, and that worked out really well because they could have everybody who was normally on the big ski slope just kind of sit in the bleachers, and then you could have everybody stand like in the dirt. Me, I'm a dirt stander. I get so filthy at this thing because I don't shower for 3 days straight. Normally I have baby wipes, but I couldn't find any on the way down there, and I was too busy to buy them, or too absent-minded to buy them, so I didn't. And so I was using like face wash and water and paper towels. It's a gross game going to music festivals, but I'm down for the cause. In fact, camping is like a brand new thing for me because for years when they was at the ski slope, I would just secretly find a place at night and sleep in my car. I did that for a very, very long time, but now I'm an adult who can buy things. Well, I was an adult then too, but now I'm a wealthier adult who can like buy a camping space, and so that's what I do now. But I'm down for the cause of filth and stuff, of just like sitting in my own sweat and dirt and all this kind of stuff. You know, like, don't let the mushrooms fool you. Like, I'm gonna do well in the apocalypse, I promise you. So last year, it was the first time at this new place, and I didn't really have an amazing start last year, but it got better. And this year, I was spending a lot of time thinking about last year, because it was actually the 1-year anniversary of me getting on Twitch. And when I say getting on, I don't mean doing the streaming thing, I just mean joining Twitch in general. Because last year at the festival, I actually went on, made a Twitch account, because I was wondering if this guy that I've been watching on YouTube, otherwise known as Manly Reviews at the time, he's not that anymore, streamed it all. And he did. And so I remember joining and watching a few of the VODs literally while I was in that same tent. And so I was just taking some time to kind of reflect back on the fact that who is this person? Riley, you should check him out. He's a pretty good streamer. He's pretty good at the YouTube thing as well. I did a little throwback thing while I was there, and I watched his, why do I keep zooming in? I actually watched his Need for Speed video while I was there, because I had watched it while I was there last year, just to kind of, and I hadn't seen it in a really, really long time. Just to kind of, you know, like have some nostalgia or something like that. And I was like, and I'm so used to just like interacting with him now just as a friend, that I was like, oh, wow. I was just like, dang, this shit's pretty good. It was actually kind of weird to like watch, actually. Isn't it funny? I was just like, oh man. Yeah, because you know, I'm just like, oh, it's just a person now. But yeah, so that was like a really big thing. Oh, so easy to rewatch, but it's just weird now, because like before, when I was watching like last year, he was like a guy on YouTube, and now he's just Liam. If that makes any sense. But it was cool to think that too. I was kind of being like, oh wow, like it's just so crazy how much can happen in the spans of a year. And this is when I get like a little emotional. Just Liam. He's just I was literally sending him videos of stuff going on while I was there. It was like drum stuff, or I was just like asking him questions about things. So, and then I think I hopped in his stream. So it was just, I know, it was kind of crazy just to be like, oh my word, this time last year I was watching him on YouTube, and now I can just send him messages, and he's just a friend of mine now. Really, really cool. Oh, thank you, Arcane Storm. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry the alert didn't go off. Sammy is, oh, that's not Sammy. That's not Sammy. That's too bad. Can we? Thank you so much. Sammy died. Sammy shouldn't have died. Failed to connect to OBS. Okay, well, that's all right. We're not gonna have any alerts today. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. This is an alertless stream. I do apologize about that. I don't know what's wrong. F in chat for Sammy. F in chat. Oh, thank you, Laurie. I appreciate it. That's so funny that you bring up the earrings, Laurie. I actually wore these on purpose because these are 2 items that I know, Thornstar. And I haven't been home in 3 days, and I haven't been on the computer in even longer than that. And I just booted Sammy up, and it's just possible that it's having a hard time reconnecting. It's okay, and I got an IT guy for that, so don't you worry. But yeah, these are actually a couple things that I have purchased at past Soulfest. They are, I think they're amethyst, or they're like amethyst, adjacent or something like that. They're supposed to look like it. But these are actually from organizations that vend at Soulfest, because they are for different, what is the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say charities, just because that's not the actual like word that I'm looking for here. But what happens is that these organizations work with people. I believe this one, I don't remember the name of it, but they're two separate places. And essentially what they are is that people in developing countries who are in sort of dire need of, you know, someone to sponsor them work with these places, and they actually make jewelry. And a lot, I don't remember which one it is. I think it's this one. It's an elephant. This was actually made by a mom of a disabled child in Africa. And what they do is that they sell through these vendors and they get the revenue for it. So these are, and it's very, and I think that these earrings have a very similar story. I wish I could remember the name of it, but they are for a good cause. They get the revenue for that, and it helps support them. I realize that I am not explaining that very well, but that's just one of the things that goes on at Soulfest. I actually signed up to be a sponsor to a little girl in where I think she's in Ghana. Yeah, she's in Ghana. Do I actually have a picture? I thought I had a picture in my desk, but I don't think I do. But yeah, back in 2018, I signed up to sponsor a little girl in Ghana, and her name is Aku, and she is actually doing really, really well. Yeah, I would be very surprised if it was actually amethyst, Laurie. I'm sure it's like a quartz of some kind that's just purple. I have no idea. But I remember, like, it was, you know, it was beautiful, and I wanted to be able to, like, help a good cause and stuff like that. Yeah, but yeah. That's just sort of one of the other things that happens at the festival, which is always awesome, and I love being supportive. I signed up for Haiti 180, which also is sponsored. Oh, that's that. Don't you, girl? Don't you worry. Don't you worry. I signed up for Haiti 180, which helps to sponsor orphans in Haiti. Excuse me. It's also an organization that builds like nursing homes for the elderly in Haiti. Really fantastic cause. And I signed up with Compassion International. I actually have 2 children that I sponsor through them. One of them is in South America, and another one is in Africa. And they're both doing really, really well, according to the letters that I am getting from them. It's really cool. I get to be able to provide money that helps them get clean water, food, medical sources, and education. And they're both girls. And in both places, sorry, the kids are being like a little distracting. In both places, usually what happens with young girls is if they don't get an education and usually a lot of young girls don't get educations, that means that they're just going to have a lot rougher a time in life. And so I'm very happy to be able to sponsor 2 young women. And I think one of them is aging out of the program pretty soon. I believe that the age to age out is 18. And that is for the girl who is in South America. Her name, she goes by Christina. But yeah, it's been an honor to be able to do that. And that's one of the things that I've been exposed to at Soulfest. So, this is just kind of like some backstories. But right now we're talking kind of about what I was going through while I was there this year. Because I wasn't really feeling it, if you know what I mean. I had the red wedding going on, which was fine, but it just like makes you tired and a little grouchy. And it was also so hot out, like so hot out, that I just couldn't like sit in the tent. And I was sitting in my car in the air conditioning. I was getting like upset about the fact that I wasn't still at the mountain, even though it's been 3 years. Just kind of like reiterating back on that. And then also, it turns out the festival was under a new owner. I had no idea. And things were very, very different there this year. They had moved the stage from, you know, a place that actually made a little bit of sense in front of like these big bleachers and stuff. And they had moved it to this to be in front of this gigantic, like flat field, like completely flat. And so that meant essentially that and this was my bad. This was my bad. I'm taking this upon myself, but I'm also putting a little blame on them because their website didn't really describe that. I did notice that there was like some differences when I was actually buying the tickets, where it was just like, you can get like the meadow field for 3 days. And I was like, what is that? And it didn't really say. But then there was also like pit passes, which has always existed, but I never really wanted it to be like in the pit, if you know what I mean. I've been there before because I got gifted a pit pass, but that's different. Where you're just in front of the stage and you can look up at them, which is fine. But normally what happens is that's like a very narrow strip that they have a fence around, and then you're on the other side and you're just standing there, which is where I want to be. But this year they didn't have that. They had a big amount of standing room on the other side of a fence that you had to pay to be there. which I was so astonished by. I had no idea that that was the case. And so I was just like, what do you mean I have to pay extra just to stand up? Otherwise, the other option was to have a chair, be in the field and sitting the entire time, which I did not come to a festival to sit. You know, like, I'm sure that that's around the corner for me, but that is just not how I enjoy my festival. I like to sing and dance and worship and get dirty. And hi, baby.
Dan,
What, honey?
I got a question. When are you going to be done?
Very soon. I'm trying. I'm sorry, honey. I'm trying really hard to like speed this up. You can go downstairs if you want to, though. Okay. But you just not to be too loud, okay? But I'm trying to hurry. I'm sorry. He's a sweet. They're both. They're the sweetest, most politest, most lovely little kids you've ever seen in your life. And he just snorted at me too. And he loves Minecraft and Super Smash Brothers.
Why did he just snore? Why did you say I snored at you?
I thought you did. I'm sorry. Anyways.
I was laughing.
Anyways.
Because that was kind of funny.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. I'm sorry. There, he's talking to me. He's asking why I said that he snorted. I thought he did. I'm sorry. Anyways, so I get there and I'm just like, yo to you both. Riley says, yo. Is trying to get my Minecraft shady, make him stop to get me into Minecraft. Lori can do whatever she wants, Riley. She has free will. She's a strong, independent lady. And she, just because you're her boss doesn't mean you can make her do things. No fighting in my chat though. Anyways, I was a little bit taken aback by the fact that I had to pay to stand. So I went to talk to some ladies who were very nice, and I don't blame them. Everyone's a volunteer there. No one's getting paid. So they said, yeah, you need to be able to have a special thing for that. And I was like, fine. Well, this is why I came to Soulfest. What do I need? They're like, oh, only tonight is available. Everything else is sold out. Which I was just like, what? Okay, that's fine. So I bought it for that night and I stood in front of the stage and it was a really good time. But the amount of grouchy that I felt at that point was like pretty high up there. And I kept trying to like have a good attitude about it because I kept trying to go over my head. I was just like, first of all, you're so lucky to be here in the first place. A lot of people can't afford to come here. You know, you still have your health. You can like leave. Hi, bottom text. Please read the pin message. Please read the pin message. I love you, but like, please read the pin message. So I was like under the spirit of comparison. I had a bad attitude about it. I really felt bad about the fact that I had a bad attitude about it. And I tried very, very hard to have a better attitude so that I could actually enjoy myself. And I believe that's what I was talking about, like getting into chat. You know, I was just like wandering around. The heat was so oppressive and I had to pay to stand. And then the next, which is something they actually took away because a lot of people complained and they actually pushed the gate back, which I didn't realize for the next night. So I just sat in a chair in the field and just kind of hated it. It was still great. It was still great to be able to, you know, be there. And like I saw Switchfoot. I don't know if anyone who knows what Switchfoot is. That's like the most famous act that they had there that some of you might know. And that was really amazing. And I was able to like, you know, munch on food sitting in the chair and stuff like that. But I was just having a really hard time and I kept thinking about last year where I was also kind of having a hard time because I was, yeah, they're pretty famous. Did I do it? No, you didn't, Bomb Text. Just like, please read the pin message. I just want you to be aware of what's going on right now. You didn't do anything. I'm happy you're here. I'm always happy to see you, Bomb Text. I just want you to know what's going on right now. This is like a very particular stream right now. This is a lot of me talking, which I apologize. Like I said, probably not going to happen very often. So, and did I get an important message or something? I sure did not. Okay, excellent. So I was thinking about last year where I was having a lot of problems last year when I came to the festival. And this is when I kind of give a little bit of a testimony about myself. I was going through a lot last year and I'm going to try really, really hard not to get emotional while I talk about this. especially since my niece and nephew are over there. And like, I really don't want them overhearing me, but they seem to be distracted. So I've kind of touched on it a lot throughout the streams, but I've always kind of hesitated to really describe it because it is very, very personal. But to really, like, I really feel compelled to talk about it on here. I'm going to try not to be, give too many details, but not a lot of people know this. I think, like, I've talked to Linda about it. I've briefly talked to Liam about it. I do have a younger brother who is on the lower end of the spectrum of autism, which we often forget about because it's a lot easier to kind of talk about what Linda and I described as train autism, which is the higher end of the spectrum. Thank you, Linda. I appreciate this. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like capable right now. I might get upset though. It's very, very, very personal. Oops, resumed. Yeah, a lot of times we forget just how big of a spectrum autism is. And a lot of times the people who get the most attention are the people who can advocate for themselves, who are basically just like talking here. I don't know, the running joke is that everybody in stream is autistic of some kind. And that, I don't know. I always have my own personal feelings about hearing stuff like that, because on the one hand, autism is a spectrum and it shows in many, many different ways. And all of them are valid. We just often forget about the people who struggle a little bit more or even a lot more than other people. And because oftentimes we just don't see them. They're not people who can advocate for themselves. They need to have people take care of them all the time. And it's a very, very, very difficult topic. My brother has struggled his entire life, and he has gone through long spurts of, just having, like, he's a big guy for one thing. He's like 6'4", and sometimes he has, he has a lot of anger inside of him. I think that stems from a lot of things. And being able to distinguish what is the autism and what is the person sometimes gets very difficult. And we like to say, hey, we love to talk about the good stuff being the person and the bad stuff being the autism, when that's not fair, and it's kind of dehumanizing, because unfortunately a lot of the bad stuff is the human sometimes. And last year he last year he attacked my mother, and it was pretty. He attacked my mother last year and hit her really hard over the head with a can of wasp spray, and it made her. Thank you, Laurie. It was very scary. It's not the first time something like this has happened, in the slightest. It was actually tame compared to a lot of other times. I have a photo of myself with bruises all over my face from a few years ago, and that he caused. It's hard to talk about this stuff, but I was very scared this time. And it was just one of those incidences that this happened March 2024. Okay, just to give you some timeline context. And I hustled her out of the house, but this kind of set off a very long season of fear in me, because he was now in a state of hostility. I don't know why. We still don't know why, but he basically just spoke to us in hostile manner. Like I said, he's a big dude. He's 6'4", and he just would scream all the time. And I was afraid constantly for my mother's safety. And I had a place where I could go at the time. I was with somebody, and I could go be with them, which felt wrong because it felt like leaving her alone was putting her at risk. But at the same time, it was hard, and I don't want to get into too many details, but it's very complicated things that were going on. I know a lot of people have questions, or you don't have questions, but it was a lot of fighting to say maybe he's not the safest person to have here. And it got complicated because of like she gets paid to take care of him and finances, all this stuff that I don't want to get into. But there was very little resources we could turn to, very few people we could turn to. We were calling the police a lot, and I wasn't sleeping. I was like armed to the teeth all the time. I had like a taser under my pillow all the time, and I had a knife, and I always had my shoes by my bed, and I just have distinct memories of sitting there like listening for him, because he'd just be yelling and yelling and yelling very, very violent things, like creative violent things. I don't want to say it because my niece is right here. But I'd be scared that he would go and attack her. And so I just lived in fear. And it just seemed like once a week we were just running out the door, calling the police in the dark. And I would just sit up all night holding a taser, which now turns out, like, you know, it's not the smartest thing to have. And just like my leg would be bouncing and I'd be so scared. And I was with somebody at the time that I cared about a lot and who loved me a lot, and I loved him, but I felt very conflicted about being with, because we had been together for a while and I was now kind of wondering where it was going and wondering where the future was, and the future just didn't seem to be anything super concrete. I didn't see marriage in the future, so I was starting to wonder, like, should we stay in this relationship? But then it was now my only safe place, so I was very conflicted. I had a lot of stuff going on. I would also, that summer, got very, very sick, and I stayed sick, and I was in the emergency room a lot. And so, like, from March up until I got to Soulfest in about August, a lot of the stuff was happening. Like, the guy I was with had gotten evicted out of his apartment, and so he needed to find a new place to stay. And I felt very suspended between two worlds of, like, I can't really be home because it's not safe, and now you're leaving and I don't know where to go. I don't know what's going to happen to me. I don't know where my future holds. I feel like I need to stay with you, even though I don't see us making a family together, and I'm scared to break up and be alone anyways. It was a lot of that sort of stuff. And I remember sitting in his new apartment feeling very lost. Like, my brother had kind of calmed down at that point, but a lot of questions of, you know, what's going to happen in the future? You know, are you going to have to take over this responsibility that is scaring you so much? Hey, baby, can you go sit down? Thank you. That is scaring you so much, and what's going to happen to the house? What's going to happen to all these different things? And I felt like I have wanted to do so much with my life, and now I'm getting pigeonholed into this thing that a responsibility that I don't want to take over. What's going to happen to me? I felt very uninspired, very depressed, and just afraid all the time. And I remember, and I've shared this with Liam before, that the thing that kind of woke me back up was I had started watching his YouTube videos, and amazed at his supreme amount of talent. And because I know how to do Premiere Pro, and I love cameras. I know all this stuff. Like, I've been studying to do, like, YouTube back in the day. So just, I knew the amount of technical stuff that had been going on to make this sort of thing happen. And I thought, man, this guy is unbelievably talented. And I felt a stirring in my heart. And then I was watching his Dishonored video and saw him sitting in a boat in a video game, moving across the screen. And I don't know what that's from. And my brain just went, I want to do that. I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to have the knowledge and the wherewithal. This is what I want to do with my life. I don't want to, like, back out of it. What's up, DJ Fluffsky? Hi. Please read the pin message. And I'm not sure if someone subscribed or not. I had a sub goal, but I didn't see an alert for anything else. I'm so sorry. My alerts aren't working. So I do apologize if someone did that. But from seeing that, oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm so sorry the alerts aren't working. My Sammy is, like, not connecting to my OBS, and I don't really know what to do to change that. But from that moment on, I just got really excited about life again. I got excited about getting back into cameras, doing photo stuff, about writing, about like maybe finally starting to do videos. And I was like, oh, I want to. Can I shoot you a tutorial in a bit for Sammy? If you would like, I think I know what's wrong. I just don't want to deal with it right now. And I don't think I necessarily need it, but I appreciate the thought. I really do appreciate the thought. This is a very quick stream. This is me just trying to like get some thoughts out and like share some thoughts. Yeah, my niece and nephew are also here, so trying to get through this. I appreciate you though. I really, really do. But anyways, yeah. So I was really excited again to get back into creative stuff, and like I had a new, like the vision that I continuously had for myself was there, and I'm not going, I'm giving a testimony right now, talking about a festival I just gone to, and I was talking about stuff that had happened to me last year that had put me in a really bad place last year, and basically what was going on that summer coming out of it. I'm sorry, I don't want to keep backtracking, I'm so sorry. But essentially I had some very traumatic stuff happen to me like last year during 2024 springtime, and it had just kind of snowballed to the point where I was very, very distressed about what my life was going to turn into and where I was going, and just basically in a place of fear and depression, and I really owe Liam a lot, because he was very inspiring to not just get excited about creative stuff, but I'm gonna be perfectly honest, like watching him in his videos screaming at the camera and just being like this big tough guy on camera, which we all, whoever has like spent time in a stream, know that he's like the nicest human being alive. He's like such a sweetheart, but in a lot of times in his like videos. What candles? Am I talking too fast? If I'm talking too fast, let me know. But anyways, but in his videos, like he comes off as like this really tough guy sometimes. And in that moment, I really needed that. Oh, okay. Got you, DJ. Thank you. But I don't know, in that moment, I really needed that. I was watching him being like, yeah, I want to be a tough guy who swears a lot. Absolutely. And I don't know, it just really helped, especially like coming home and dealing with stuff. He for sure he is. And obviously he's a sweetheart in real life. And he is like someone who has, well, I'll get to that later. But in that moment, summer 2024, I really needed to be able to like have that inspiration to one, get back into actually planning my life out and be creative. And also just like, damn, I want to be a tough guy. Oh, I shouldn't be swearing. Oh my word, my niece is over there. Okay. Everybody just remind me, no swearing. Just in chat, just keep saying shady, no swearing. So I don't know, I got very inspired. I whole life. Thank you, Static. Thank you. That's very, very helpful. It really picked me back up, and going to Soulfest last year. Oh, that's awesome, Riley. That's so awesome. I'm so happy to hear that. But yeah, going back to Soulfest last year, I was in a feisty mood, if there ever was one. I don't know what it was. I know what it was. I know it was the fact that I had a lot of internalized anger. I had a lot of sadness. I had a lot of being scared, and I had this like brand new like content creator that I was watching who was just like, you know, kind of a full force kind of a person, and I was like getting amped up from watching him. So I went to Soulfest last year just kind of like ready to fight people. Don't know, just like a lot of it was like repressed, bottled up emotion, but boy was I ready to fight people. Like I saw, I don't know, I don't want to get super into it, but I like saw, yeah, exactly. I was just like, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. Like it was not good. Like I saw people like so like there was like a morning. I know, Stat. It was not good. And I was a little surprised at myself. I was just like, what are the Catholics doing here? You don't really believe in God. You know, like it was really dumb things like that. And I got humbled. Trust me, I got humbled while I was there. I was listening to like an act who I adore. His name's Matt Maher, and he's a Catholic, and he was talking about oftentimes he didn't feel welcome at festivals because he was Catholic. And I was like, oops. This was last year, though. This is last year. But I was like wondering like why I felt this way. And and I was standing, I actually told Linda this story. I was standing in front of the big stage, the revival stage, and Matt Maher, the Catholic, came on. And he was singing, and like, granted, like, I love this guy, like, he's so talented, he's wonderful. And he was talking about, oh man, I'm sorry about my voice. He was talking about a lyric in one of his songs, basically just like, remember your people, oh God. And he was saying, you know, did David think that, you know, God forgot everybody, that he had a bad memory? And he said, no, probably not. He said he probably said that because sometimes as humans, we feel forgotten. And he was just expressing that. And in that moment, I thought to myself, I wonder if my brother feels forgotten. And I did this. And I started crying. And this amazing woman, like, she's not amazing. It was like a teenager. This teenage girl just like with zero hesitation, just like went, she just like wrapped her arms around me. And she went, can I pray for you? And I went, please, please. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Yeah, right, exactly. Because I had a lot of bitterness in my heart, which is probably why I wanted to fight everybody. I had a lot of bitterness in my heart towards my brother, obviously. He was causing this turmoil, and I felt anger and resentment. And I remember just praying and saying, God, I'm like, I don't know what to do. And he said, you need to forgive him. And I said, okay, but normally that means that like we're gonna make everything better, we're gonna make the relationship better. I don't think that's gonna happen, God. I don't think forgiveness is gonna solve the situation. I don't think it's gonna save anything. I think it's just gonna stay exactly the same. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna forgive him and magically he's not violent, he's not like aggressive or anything like that. And God said, no, but it's gonna save you. Like, because I could feel like my empathy draining away for like humanity in general. And I remembered like the saying that just like, you know, bitterness is a poison that you alone are drinking. It's not affecting anybody else. Thank you. Right, exactly, DJ Flovsky. And like I felt validated for how I felt. Like I couldn't feel any other way. I felt ashamed of myself, you know. And exactly. And that was a difficult thing for me. And I remember thinking like, I can try. I don't know if I can get there right now. But it felt good to kind of acknowledge that. Oh, that's okay. It's literally like a right in front of my face type of thing, DJ Vlasky. I know I can call you Link. It's just like always just like, oh, right there in front of my face. That's very true, Laurie. That's very true. And sometimes it leads to reconciliation and sometimes it does not. Sometimes the boundaries remains there because what people forget is just that just because there's forgiveness doesn't mean that there's not still consequences. And consequences can remain intact in spite of being able to say that I forgive you. Absolutely. And that's okay, Johnny. And here's the thing, we all go through things. And I was kind of at like my height last summer. When all that stuff was going on, it was kind of all culminating together, and I felt very lost. I felt very, very lost. And I felt very much like I don't know what the future holds, and I'm scared. And I had some dark thoughts, very dark thoughts, which I'm glad are no longer there. But it's just so funny to me to look back at that Soulfest when I was feeling like that. Hi, baby. Can you go? Hi. I love you. Oh, thank you, Scar. Oh, my word. Sammy's working now. Actually, maybe not. Maybe that's through Twitch. I don't know. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It was bad. Go sit down. But it's just so funny because that was all happening simultaneously. Like, I was having that profound moment, which I felt very alleviated by. And I was also, like, wondering what the future was going to hold and what I was going to do. And feeling lost and feeling like I needed to surrender to God and what his plans were for me. And I didn't know that in that moment, my whole life was about to change. Because at that very festival where all this was happening, I went back, I remember being in my tent and like just like doing the repeat watch of like, it's like, hey, I've seen this, Dark Souls video 3 times, but what's one more? Because it's just so fun to watch. And I thought, does he stream? Yeah. And I went on Twitch, and turns out Manly Reviews did stream, which was a weird thing because I had never gone on Twitch before. I had never spent any time there. I vaguely understood it to be a thing that existed because I watched offline TV on YouTube and they talked about Twitch occasionally. But I personally had never gone on there and I had never spent time there. So I knew nothing about it. I didn't know like zilch, like zero zilch. And I watched some of his VODs and went, oh my. Oh my goodness, I am in a much better place now, Johnny. I am in a much better place. Literally because I joined Twitch, which is never something that I thought would ever say. But I remember looking back at those first few VODs being like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be here right now because these are some rough and tumble gamers right now. Okay, baby. I'm excited. Okay, maybe we can use the new earphones. Okay. So yeah, it's like, what confounds me is that I find change in myself to be impossible with how things are, and yet in the story I'm writing, my character is written towards hope for a better way of self-perception. And that's sometimes the way to do it, Arcane Storm. Sometimes it's so hard, because what people don't understand is that change comes sometimes after processing, and processing... She is, Johnny. But Arcane, like... The difficult thing about making change is that it comes after you've actually felt those emotions, where you've faced difficult truths, where you have made tough decisions, and the processing is not easy. It's very hard, and I've had to do it many, many times. We'll probably talk about other stuff like on other streams, but we're trying to, one thing at a time on this stream. It's so hard, Laurie. It is so hard, but it's so necessary. And that's why, like I always say, find a therapist or find somebody that you can talk to these things about, because they help you hear things out loud and come to other conclusions and really have perspective and things like that. I have Johnny. Like, it's unfortunate. I have been through a lot. This is just like one story. When they say like, will you share your testimony? I'm always like, which one? This is a big one for me. This is like one that like is hard for me to talk about. I'm omitting a lot of details because I'm trying to keep it short. But there's a lot of details that went into why things were as bad as they were, and they were pretty bad at the time. And I'm astonished how different. What is going on, Liam? How we doing? I'm assuming you missed everything that I just said. But I have a pinned message up. I was actually talking about the festival that I just went to. I don't know if you've been lurking. You tend to do that, so I don't know if you've caught a lot of stuff. I'm giving a testimony right now, talking about traumatic stuff in the Lord. Yeah, Linda hit it on the head. But a lot of it you already know, really. I was talking about like last year. Just came in. That's okay. That is perfectly okay. I'm talking about the festival that I just attended, and I was comparing it to last year. And man, I feel like it's important to like recap just because like you're such a big part of the story. But okay. So Okay, I'm gonna try. Chat. I'm so sorry. I feel bad just because like if I probably wouldn't recap if it wasn't anybody else. I was talking about last year, Liam, and how basically this year, last time on Shady Lady 007. I'm sorry. Okay, we're gonna do it. I was describing this festival. It's a festival called Soulfest. It's a Christian music festival. I was sending you videos from it. Okay, thank you so much. Like, I appreciate that. And essentially, I was telling chat that I was doing a lot of reflection this year. Oh, also, here, come over here, baby. Liam, this is my niece. This is my niece, Braylon. She's a little shy right now, but they're over here right now, which is why I'm trying to get this to be like a short stream. Where did you get that bow?
I had it in my suitcase.
Oh, interesting. Can you wave? Say hello to Liam? Okay, thank you. My nephew's around here somewhere. I think he went downstairs, so. She's hanging out with me, so I'm trying to swear. So just keep reminding me not to swear. So this festival that I just went to, it is actually the 1 year of me actually joining Twitch. And I was talking about what a giant difference a year made and why it was so profound. She does look like me? I don't know. She looks way better than me, Linda. Thank you, Laurie. Thank you. And I don't know if you remember this conversation, Liam, but like at some point, maybe in April or something like that, we had a conversation about my brother who is on the lower end of the autism spectrum and how sometimes he can be pretty unpredictable and it can get a little frightening and stuff like that. And the story that I just told Chad essentially from last year was that in March sometime, we brush our teeth in this chat. Absolutely. I just did mine after like not doing it for days. Was that essentially my brother, who's this big dude, attacked my mother, and it was a really scary moment. And it wasn't anything that was like brand new, but it was particularly frightening at that point because he kind of launched into a phase where he was being hostile for a very long time, and I was basically afraid all the time for many, many months. And I was like staying up at night. I wasn't sleeping. I was listening for him to hear if he would just launch and go attack her again, which is stuff that has happened in the past. And he was constantly screaming violent things and just in a place of hostility that he had never been in before. And so I would just stay up listening, holding on to a taser, and rush her out of the house if I thought something was going to happen, call the police a lot. And this lasted for quite a long time, and it was that plus being in a relationship that I wasn't sure that I should remain in because I didn't see it going anywhere, but feeling conflicted about it and not having a safe place to be, and essentially just being afraid for the future, wondering if I was going to inherit this after my mother passed away, and it now being my problem for the rest of my life, and basically any hopes, dreams, aspirations, which I have like a lot of, would just basically fall by the wayside. And, you know, I would forever be worried about my own safety. And it was a lot. It was a lot to process. It went on for a very long time. And I remember, like, what I think it was, I have no idea if you remember this conversation, but you had reached out to me because like one night in chat I said that I wasn't having a good night, and the next day you said, "Are you okay?" And I said I took my brother out and he tried to run away from me when I was in the city, and he was trying to hit me, and I was just like scared. And oh, this is my nephew, by the way. Do you want to say hi? Liam's over here.
Oh, yeah.
This is, oh, you're in front of a tree, baby.
Wait, what?
Oh, sorry. This is Emmett.
I gotta put my hand this way, because when I go this way,
I know, right? It's mirrored. You are so much tanner than I am.
it's just like how?
Because look at your skin tone compared to mine.
No, it's because of the screen.
It's not because of the screen, it's because I'm a pale queen. But look how much tan I got, chat. Anyways, thank you.
Who's Chet?
It's these people. Okay, bye.
When are you gonna be done?
I'm almost done, I promise. I'm sorry, I keep having to recap things. Okay, say bye-bye. Okay, I will be over there in a second. I'm so sorry. A child, I know. Don't get used to it. They're not, I don't want little kids on the internet. They just happened to be here. I did not know that they were gonna be here. But anyways, yeah, so that was like a big factor. I was also feeling very lost, very uninspired, very scared. And I was telling chat that during that summer, I was also very sick. I was in the emergency room a lot. I had a lot of problems going on. The person that I was with had just like moved, thank heaven, because we thought that I was like gonna have no place to go. Yeah, this is a lot of heavy stuff today. And I started watching your videos, Liam, and we've already talked about this, where I was very inspired by your skill set and everything that you were doing, but also, and I just told chat, as someone... Wait, let's not turn that on yet. Okay, guys? I'm not the TV. Let's...
No, I was.
Okay, that's fine. That's okay. We're just not gonna turn that on right now, okay? Can you guys go sit down, please? Thank you. But at that time, not only just being impressed by the skill set of what you were doing in your videos, Liam, was really inspiring to me, because I had always wanted to make videos and I love cameras, and we all know this. But also just because like the persona that you were putting out there at the time, which we all know now is like, you know, not 100% who you are. You're a very lovely, kind, patient person, but you also are a very like, you know, full-chested person. And you just came off as such a tough person in your videos that I felt inspired by that too, because I had spent so much time being afraid and being depressed and being scared, and every time I was home just being on edge and on eggshells and like crying a bunch, because, you know, like I remember when I was with my then boyfriend at his apartment one night, I got a phone call at like 2 in the morning, which I thought was a telemarketer who never calls me at 2 in the morning. Turns out, but they left a message and it was the police. And I'll be honest, that was one of the most frightening moments of my life, because I thought that they were going to tell me that my brother had killed my mom. And I was shaking so hard trying to redial that phone number. And turns out that that's not what happened, thankfully. But I just remember thinking, like, why are we living like this? This is absolutely insane. And a lot of people do, and they're very much forgotten at the time. But that's just kind of like the constant anxiety and fear I felt. And watching Liam's videos gave me this sense of just like, I want to be strong and tough as well. And that really bolstered me a lot, as well as just like being inspired to get back into creativity and things like that. And I remember going to Soulfest and having this moment in front of the stage. I just said the story, I'm so sorry, but I was listening to someone sing a song. Hey, can you go sit, baby? Or you can go play? Talking about a lyric in one of his songs, talking about remember your people, oh God, and saying, you know, did David think that God forgot his people? Yeah, you definitely were. And here's the thing, Liam, we're getting around to it, because in that moment, like when like he was explaining those lyrics, like remember your people, he didn't think that God forgot his people. He just thought that, you know, sometimes as humans we feel forgotten and we're just expressing that. And I thought to myself, what if my brother feels forgotten? Which, you know, was a moment of deep empathy in a moment where I really, really hated him, like really had deep resentment towards him. And I started crying and I felt bad about myself, and I felt very honest and laid open. And like this girl hugged me and she prayed for me. It was great, you know. But I remember God telling me, like, you need to forgive him, and not because it's gonna fix everything, but it's gonna save you. And oh, that was a hard moment. I know I cry all the time. Like I said, this is gonna be like a once stream, so I need to get it all out. And I remembered going back to the tent and being like, oh hey, thank you, Afix Mike. I wonder if this guy streams, because I've watched all his videos like 10 times. And that night in that, like, I joined Twitch, and I had no idea that that was about to change my life forever. because in that moment I felt very, very lost. And I think that, as a believer, I believe that God works in mysterious ways. And I had no idea that joining the stream where everybody was swearing and everybody was making jokes about cum, I can't swear right now because my nephew's right over there. I went, this is interesting. I'm not opposed to it, but it's a little different than what I'm used to normally. I don't know if I'm going to be welcome here. It took a long time for me to get comfortable, but it was such an incredible life-changing moment. And being part of those streams like in the early times, and then you just disappeared off the internet for a long time, which is okay. You needed to do that. And then like coming back in January and actually spending time there has been nothing short of one of the most amazing experiences of my life. And obviously everybody knows kind of the story like from there, like because everybody is experiencing it too, just being in a place where you can cultivate community and actually feel like you can be open and be transparent and actually be yourself and be embraced for who you are. It's kind of a new feeling for me. I'm somebody who deals a lot with a lot of self-analytical stuff. I'm a big self-hatred person, and not to mention I got a therapist. That was a big thing. I got a therapist. Like Twitch didn't fix everything. I got a therapist and I did that processing thing we were just talking about that. But I didn't realize it was going to be more than that. When I got the idea to actually start streaming myself, I didn't really know what that was supposed to mean. I didn't know what that was going to look like. It was just kind of my idea, and I thought it was going to be fun. And it turns out it was a lot of fun. And I didn't know what it was going to mean to me. But this year, when I went to Soulfest, I was doing a lot of reflecting. I was thinking basically just like how wildly different my life is now compared to what was going on last year, in the sense that, one, my brother's doing a lot better, excuse me, thankfully, and our relationship is actually a lot better, which is something that I'm astonished to be able to say. I don't have that feeling of fear and bitterness and resentment inside me. Sometimes it kind of rears its head, but it's not in the same way as before. But also, like, I feel so much less lonely, if that makes sense. Like, I've been sitting, like, because we all kind of, like, get it. We all come onto Twitch and we all, like, have this amazing moment of, oh, wow, I can talk to people on here and they have the same interests as me and it's cool to make jokes and things like that. But I have like competing thoughts in my head right now. It has been a very unique experience for me personally to feel like I'm in a place where I belong, if that makes sense. And while I was wandering around Soulfest, which by the way wasn't like the most fun experience this year, I was telling chat that, it was 90 degrees the entire time. It was very, very hot. It's under a new owner. Like, a lot of things were different. And I was trying to listen to what I was supposed to understand and hear with this. Oh, good, Johnny, good. I always get a little nervous about giving testimony on Twitch because, like, sometimes it's like, who cares? Why are you telling us this? And it's because, like, I'm somebody... Okay. This is... I care. I know you care. I know you care, Linda. Linda do be caring. That's super valid. I know. And here's the thing, though. This is why we don't share these things, because we start to think to ourselves, no one cares. But then when we actually hear other people say it out loud... Sorry, my niece is right there. She's watching. When we actually say it out loud... Nobody swear in chat. I swear. No one's swearing in chat right now. She's reading you. She can read. We realize that we're all going through the same things. And that it doesn't make us so alone when we actually hear this sort of stuff. And to be able to go, yes, if I made it out to the other side, so can you. So can us. And it was really funny being at Soulfest this year, because one of the big themes that that they were focusing on was community. And fighting the loneliness epidemic, which everybody kind of has like their opinions on, but she can read. She's a big reader. So I'm watching all of you. I'm watching all of you right now. And I know that, and I was sitting there listening to it all, just sort of nodding my head, just being like, Absolutely, Arcane, as you should, but hearing them say that, I'm sorry, I got like all these different things distracting me. I'm trying to lock into the thoughts. I'm trying to grab the thoughts. It's not easy being vulnerable, Johnny. And here's the thing, like, this is something I'm very, very good at. I'm very good at sharing what I've been through. I'm very good at talking about it. It's not something that I'm afraid to talk about. I'm afraid of like how people are going to feel about it, because sometimes you don't like follow a streamer to hear about difficulties, or like actually like be able to like look at yourself and go, what am I feeling? Instead, it's like I don't really want to look at the feelings that I'm always trying to run away from. And hearing them, good, I'm so glad, Johnny, but hearing them actually discuss the community and the loneliness epidemic, they mentioned something very interesting. They said everybody is on their phones right now, and that's a problem. And it made me laugh, because I was just like, my family is on my phone. My Twitch family is here. And I can honestly say that, you know, it's more, there's a lot of people that I just know as people who are in chat, but there's also people who are genuinely my friends. Like people that I'm very close to, people that I go to, people that I confide in, people that I trust. People that, like, if we didn't live so far away from each other, I would say, let's go out to lunch. And that is such an amazing thing. I can sometimes isolate myself from the people, and I'm making it sound like I have no friends. I have this is not a brag. Like I do know a lot of people, and I'm honored to be able to call them friends, but sometimes I just like being alone. And it's hard for me to reach out. It's hard for me to say, yes, people will like me if I, yeah, right. Because like I do deal with self-hatred, I do, but I think a lot of it is also just like self-preservation, because I genuinely in my brain am going just because like I like myself doesn't mean you're gonna like me. And that does stem from childhood, and like, can you guys go sit down?
So
I'm sorry, I'm getting to the point, I promise.
Are you sure?
Okay, go sit down, go sit down. Go sit down, you're not supposed to be on the internet. Go sit down. But I don't like exactly Foxworth. And that's the thing. I have a difficult time articulating what hurts me, so I just retreating. Yes, absolutely, Arcane. Or what's even harder, Arcane, is being able to trust that other people actually want to listen to you. Like I'm sure that it's a pretty like common thing to start like spilling your heart out to people, and they're just like not listening to you, or they're not caring, or you just feel like, you know, you brought the mood down, or something like that. You know, we label it as trauma dumping, which is something very specific in my mind, or you know. Or the idea that it's hard to find a good therapist who actually care, who you don't feel like a product to them, like it's very cold-hearted and stuff like that. I agree, Static. I absolutely agree, because it's just like, how am I supposed to get in touch with my friends? I need my phone. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, Static. And honestly, I think, Static, what you just said, the difference between being alone and feeling lonely was something that I really was kind of what I was going through while I was at the festival, because I knew that I had people who actually cared about me. And yeah, like Twitch is a weird big creature, but we're all people here. And we've spent enough time on here that we have made strong connections to people. And I know I'm counting off in pairs right now. I have at least 6 people that I genuinely call very, very good friends. And that to me is so great. And not to mention being able to be just open and honest, and actually, like, it's weird to say like have an audience. I hate calling it that, but I have people here who are willing to listen. I can't believe that I have 18 people listening to me right now just talk. It's wild, but you can actually like share thoughts and stuff, and people I'm sorry, I'm getting so sidetracked by my competing thoughts right now. Absolutely, Linda. And I was alone. Absolutely. Community is absolutely the word, for sure. Except for those 6 friends. I'm just kidding. I think one of the weird foreign things that I felt while I was at the festival was the feeling of not being lonely. I was alone, but I wasn't lonely. Because I missed being here. I miss being able to do this. I miss being able to talk and stuff. I know it's been like 9 days, but I lost my voice. That's why I haven't been streaming. Like, this is the best it's sounded in like 9 days, I promise. And it was just such a cool thing. It was a really emotional thing for me to be able to reflect on what I was going through last year at Soulfest versus what I was going through this year at Soulfest. And I was feeling very, very grateful. I was feeling deeply emotionally grateful for it. Thank you. Thank you for the head pets, for everything. I went on a dunking spree. I don't know if anybody lay witness to that, but that was just one of the ways that I wanted to, like, I don't know, when I'm going through a big emotion, I have to express myself somehow. And so I went to different people's streams that I feel, I think no, why? Oh. Hi. Is anything going... Can I do anything right now? It does happen. Internet, is there a particular reason you're doing this? Come on, baby.
You're going to use your microphone.
I'm using it right now.
How? I thought you were supposed to use this. Like this.
Oh.
Yeah. Very soft though.
I don't know. I don't think I can do anything.
It's going to take like 1 more
Reset
minute
the router.
or 2 more hours.
2 more hours.
It's going to take 2 more.
No. I was a victim of getting died.
It's going to take 1 more minute or 2 more hours. Please don't say 2 more hours.
Come on.
It's going to take 2 more hours.
Honey, I'm trying to do something. Please give me a second. My goodness, why is it doing that? We are struggling right now. Are we? I'm seeing that it's still going in like the little like preview window here. We seem to be back for now, question mark. I know. See, like it's done this before. It is an internet thing. As all of us know. I can hear you. I can hear you guys too. It does seem to be back. It just looks like it's like chunky. My bad. Sandon, how could you do this to me? I'm just kidding. No, it's my stupid internet. It's pretty choppy. There's a chance it improves over time. Not too sure. Big delay though. Yeah, I know.
Like, I want to hear them in headphones.
I will I will take advice. Should I stop stream and restart the router? I will do as instructed. Can you try to do an internet speed test and shows? I guess so. I'm so sorry.
Hello.
Upload. Ooh, okay, yeah, we are struggling. We are looking at 3 megabits per second for uploads. Why are we struggling so bad?
Okay, well, I knew it was going to take 2 more hours. Can I try on the headphones?
Yeah, sure, you can try on the headphones. I might need to actually, like, stop it, though. And redo the router. This is so... What an embarrassing thing this is.
Hello.
Guys... Oh! Oh, man. So sorry. I look gross. Guys,